the corner, and this is going to take Penta so much time to even get it back into a dangerous position, let alone get it in again, because Pocket Ace is so good at predicting these plays. Long clearance from Pashi, looking for Chaussette. No contact there, but there's some misses there. Pashi tries to get that one in, but Penta looking so strong coming into this, but have looked so bad in the last 2 minutes of this matchup.
The pressure just too much.
Certainly is going to be, and we are going to come to the end of this match. Pocket Aces, they made themselves sweat, but they got themselves the win. That is going to drop the floor. Oh, no, it's not. Thank you very much,
They like to keep this ball up. We've seen it. Panda and Chaussette and everyone. They might not put it in. But Pocket Aces coming back after a slow start. We saw in game number 1 getting trounced by this Penta lineup. But in the end, they are able to take it. We saw in games 2 and 3, their offense just way too much for Penta to handle, and Penta looking to just struggle on defense. And then Penta responding back, capitalizing on a defensive mistake of Pocket, shutting down their offense, getting it back in, or forcing a game 5. But in game number 5, Pocket Aces stepping up yet again, and they remain undefeated. They're sitting at 2-0, and you have to be happy if you're a Pocket Aces fan.
Yeah, you certainly do. Pocket Aces coming up absolutely big in that one. A must-win series for them as they vie for those top 2 positions. Let's break this one down. Wavepunk, over to you.
Thanks so much, Shogun. Pocket Aces showing up in style here in their first match that goes to full game 5. I feel like Penta has gone to game 5 in so many of their series here to come up short.
Yeah, Penta's been challenging these teams, even with Mummy Snow. He played pretty well today, and that's why it's so important to have that 4th player that can actually play around this RLCS level.
Yeah, they were mentioning at the desk there were a few hiccups here and there where Mummy Snow would find himself in the same place as some of his teammates, but they seemed to iron that out a bit towards the end of the series. But Pocket Aces, that's around the time they started ramping up their skill as well.
Yeah, that game 1, a little slow from Pocket Aces. Also, some weird plays, some own goals from Pocket Aces. Just some defensive blunders all day today for Europe. People keep talking about how NA seems weaker, but I mean, the defense from Europe today has been pretty weak.
It definitely has been, and I can't tell exactly what's been attributing to it since it's kind of spanned across 4 teams so far, or even more so that I've just seen that really haven't been able to lock down their defensive rotations very well. A couple of hiccups here and there. I mean, both teams and both sides capitalizing on it, which is why we've seen so many high-scoring games as well.
Yeah, we see like maybe it was a European holiday that we just didn't know about yesterday, where they're just having a little too much fun on Saturday night, but a little sluggish here or there from the European players. But yeah, these guys know how to counterplay so well. Pocket Aces had a lot of good counterplays where Penta was so close to scoring, and they would get a key save and just 3 passes up the field in a second, and they get some goals. And that's what Pocket Aces has to do more. They're one of the best passing teams. Just when those passes are not connecting, then it can get a little scary for them.
They can also slow it down really well. Both Violent Panda and Pashi having a lot of moments there where we saw them really just control the ball really well from a really hard clear, drive it in, get a lot of really good dribbling opportunities. We know he likes to do it, and I love seeing him flash it off.
Yeah, James was calling you out about calling Pashi 90 the MVP for Europe, and he definitely showed up in this match.
Yeah, he played pretty well. And again, like when I'm talking about for the MVP, there's a lot of different things that can go into like most valuable player. And we always talk about Pashi and his leadership and how he picks up players that no one thinks is going to be that great of a player and makes them better. And that's where I come in with the most valuable player. But he shows it on the field as well. He showed it here. It's a pretty even matchup, though. I think Pocket would have rather win that a little bit more convincingly. But they still get the win. Like a win is a win. They have to be happy going into their next match.
We can take a look at the European standings now that we are halfway through week 2 of league play here in Europe. The big surprise, the leftovers up there on the top, but Pocket Aces improve, stay undefeated here, and they're going to look to join them at 3-0 in the next match.
And then Secrecy, Penta, Mocket, those teams right now kind of struggling. Secrecy and Mocket were teams that a lot of people thought might have had a better chance at this. Penta is just happy to be here, but they know that they can beat these teams. They beat them in weeklies all the time, so they must be really disappointed right now at a 1-3 start.
Yeah, and the Mocket Aces will have one more chance in this week. They'll have the last game of the series, the last game of the week to possibly improve and get a win in that column. But as the only team that is undefeated right now, But yeah, these teams all trying to compete for those top spots as the Leftovers and the Pocket Aces really trying to pull themselves away.
And if only Mocket and Pocket could change their names. Wave, I think, just blew it there, called it Mocket Aces.
Mocket
I think
I probably did.
I was waiting for someone to do it.
Probably
I think Wave did it. So
First one.
you got to put some money in the swear jar for the Mocket Aces.
So.
Yeah, that jar's getting full.
As much as I appreciate the pun, I really do like it. It's going to throw us for a loop a lot of times. It's going to confuse a lot of people, so just tweak a little bit.
Yeah, Pashy, just change your name, please. You could have. Maybe they'll find an org, because they
Maybe,
should, because
maybe.
they are looking extremely
absolutely
strong
should.
to get back to the game. Looking extremely strong right now, and they're looking like a contender.
European org owners, if you are interested in Rocket League, we got the 2 top teams right now are unsigned in Europe, and you can easily pick up both those teams. But speaking of teams with weird names, everyone's bovine favorite team here, Cownose, is going to be showing up in the next match. They are going to be taking on Pocket Aces. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be Pocket Aces and Cownose. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a good one.
Olá, pessoas! Vocês sabem o que vai ter aqui na TV Vida Real?
Life couldn't be any more sweet. Stepped onto the bright side of the street. Day is sunny right.
É como se você estivesse no plano. Você tira o pé do freio na ladeira e o carro não desce. Ford EcoSport com taxa zero em 36 vezes. Aproveite!
Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we get started again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we get started. to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we will. Depends on the future, we won't, we can make it as real. Maybe we will. Get up the ego. Making it feel.
Welcome back to the Rocket League Championship Series, where we just saw Pocket Aces get the win over Penta, and they're going to look to improve here over Kaunos as well. I'm joined by Gibbs, and Leaf X is on the desk. How's it going, dude?
Wonderful. I mean, great matches. They're so close. It's insane how close like the skill base has just gotten in Rocket League.
And it's not even just in like the match series, but also just in game scores. We see so many games decided by one goal. Almost all of them have been today and yesterday. All of the season is crazy.
Yeah, so games so close. A lot of them have been those 2-1 score lines. It seems like it's getting harder and harder to score. But today with Europe, we've seen a lot of wide open nets. And you just can't be giving up those easy goals when most games are just 2-1. So that's half of the goals that they need for a whole series if they get one open net.
For sure. So let's talk about Penta versus, or not Penta. Penta's gone for the day. Pocket Aces versus Kaunos. Does anybody know why they're called Kaunos?
I don't. I just wish they had a giant cow face as a logo. I'm still irritated.
You're still upset that the nose isn't even there.
I'm still irritated.
Yeah,
Dan, come on, man. Like, I host you all the time. What's going on here? Anyway, we got Niels Cook and Zenzis as well joining them. Of course, we just saw Pashy, Violent Panda, and Chaussette.
Yeah, and the streamer Dan himself. I mean, like, I think Kaunos just has a great atmosphere to them. I mean, I think we expect them not to do as well as they had done in week 1. Taking a game against a team that we didn't expect them to, and I'm kind of excited to see how they perform, if that's something they can keep up, or if it will kind of go downhill. I mean, we've seen so many games go ways we didn't expect them to go at all.
Absolutely. We talked about how tight of a region Europe is now. Every team is competitive to some degree. The only team that doesn't have a win right now is Mocket, who many people, as James said, were predicting to be #1. So the two teams that kind of everyone's like, oh, who are these guys? Kaunos and Penta, who have come in through random circumstance, have wins and are competing against this top 8 squads.
Yeah, Kaunos was probably the only team I thought out of the 8 teams would be like, they're probably an 8th place team, but they really showed up last week. We'll see if it was a fluke or not. They want to say not, but I want to see some more games from them. Yeah. But they had a 5-game series loss, and then they beat Secrecy in 4, which is really impressive, even though Secrecy's been not having the greatest season so far. But you can't count anyone out in Europe right now. Everyone is so talented, and honestly, it's really scary for North America.
Well, I mean, you see, again, as you said, they went to Game 5 and Game 4 in those series. Now we just saw Penta go up to Game 5 against this team. It's like Kaunos can probably do the same. I mean, obviously they're going against a team that's not warmed up, but they very well could go to Game 5.
Well, let's take a look at Zenzus, one of the players on Kaunos, compare his stats to Pashy here, the team captain of Pocket Aces. These guys are going to be looking to make big moves here in this series.
So he's actually doing better than Pashy in basically every single stat, leading in goals, assists, saves, shots. Not shooting percentage, though. That's the only one. But Kaunos is the best shooting percentage team here. They're at 30% right now, and that's what Kaunos has to do. Like, if they want to win series, they have to make every single shot count because they're not getting a ton of shots.
Yeah, but is that just because they went against teams that weren't performing as well last week? The stats are packed a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, Pashy, now that they've had a little bit more games, they didn't have as many games before, I'm sure those stats have changed. Pashy has been going off, showing why he's in the RLCS, and I feel like it's going to be a really hard setup for Kaunos.
All right, well, that brings us to predictions, guys. Who do you think is going to win? Does Kaunos get a win here over Pocket, or does Pocket continue to improve and join Leftovers at the 3-0?
Well, I think Pocket kind of didn't look great during that first series at times, but now that they're warmed up, like, that's going to help them a ton here. Kaunos, it's tough to face a team that did just get warmed up. I think Pocket's going to take this. Last year's I thought it was going to be a 3-0, but now I truly believe it because I think they're warmed up finally. It seems like they came off kind of slow, so I'm going to give it 3-0 Pocket.
Yeah, it's hard. They are warmed up, but at the same time, we did see Kaunos be able to keep up to those Game 5s or Game 4s last week. I think they're going to at least take one game off of the series, but I still think Pocket Aces is coming away with a 3-1.
All right, the desk thinks Pocket Aces will remain undefeated. Will Kaunos be able to play upset? Let's find out. I'm ready to get into game. To take us through the action, it's going to be Shogun and Findable Carpet. Yes, it certainly will be. Take it away, boys.
Yeah, we are certainly ready for this one. I am Shogun, and I am Fundable Carpet.
Yeah, I changed my name. I added a couple F's in there. Thanks, Wave. He wanted to let the audience know that I just recently changed my name.
Certainly good, though. But we are here in the unpredictable region of EU. Pocket Aces are coming in off a tough-fought win. However, Kaunos didn't. They looked a little shaky last week. We can't really put them into anywhere where it comes to predictions.
I mean, it's tough because they are newer as far as the RLCS stage goes. And you have this, going from season to season, there are players that you see often. Two of those being Pashy 90 and Violent Panda. And they've earned our love. Every time we watch them step onto the pitch or start the game, we know what to expect. And Kaunos is a team they have to work their way into our hearts, right? We don't know how they play exactly. So this is going to be one of those games. If they can take down Pocket Aces right here, they will earn a lot of fans.
They certainly will. So we're going to get ourselves into this matchup, and yeah, we're going to get ourselves out of this matchup. Certainly is going to be.
Keep telling me what's going on, Shogun.
It's rolling. The ball is rolling. I'm leaving.
Okay, cool.
Ball might still be rolling though.
Is there still?
You've still got it on, so
I do.
It's still rolling. Just in case you guys wanted to know what is happening, it's not rolling anymore. You left.
Doing a quick little rehost.
Little rehost.
Request by players. Hard to know exactly what happened because we were just trying to watch the action of the game. So,
yeah,
it happens. But either way, this is Kaunos' game to win.
Yes.
If they can just bring it their all, we know they're capable of it. We saw them. I mean, they did qualify in. We compare a lot of these top 8 teams together, no matter what, side by side. But there's one thing we can't forget. These are the top 8 teams in each region. You can't forget about that. These are still top 8. No matter what happened in the qualifier, they made it here.
You can't. And at the same time, this is a team that has played Spoiler before. They have beaten teams in complete upsets. They have, during weekly tournaments, we've yet to see it from them in this sort of stage because they hadn't had the opportunity to show it to us on this sort of stage. But Kaunos are not to be overlooked because every team that ever has overlooked them ended up being trampled all over. So do not rest on Kaunos. They can play, and they showed us that last week, but this is our opportunity to see a little bit more from them. And here we go. Kaunos versus the Pocket Aces. And let's do it to it. Here we go. Kaunos. Dan's Hizzle is going to come out of that ball pretty well. Over to Chaussette, though, who takes that one over. The long clearance comes in from Pocket Aces. Zenzus, though, it's the last player back, but he's been beat by Pashy. Dan needs to come in for that one pretty early on. And that's going to be cleared away by Dan's Hizzle. Chaussette clears that one over into the corner, however. And Kaunos, good rotation from them so far, just going for that 2-1. Leaving one player back, ready to take over the ball. That's a nice little pinch shot there, coming in from Kaunos. Good save, though, from Chaussette. Violent Panda plays that one back. Chaussette clears that one to the other side of the field, and both these two teams not wanting any particular dangerous plays to come towards them. Happy to just go for the clearances and taking it as it comes. Some more clearances. 2 players, though, committed to that one. They need to get another block onto that. Dan's Hizzle, crucial from him, taking that one away.
At the moment, neither team having full control of the field. And as we saw earlier, Pocket Aces sometimes take a little bit too long to get to their full potential, taking that last series into Game 5. But they still have an opportunity. They are a bit warmed up.
Yeah, they are very warmed up at this point in time. That's going to be a looping ball. No one's reacting to that. Violent Panda just ends up missing it. Doesn't need to do anything, though. Oh, dearie me.
This was quite a mishap between Zenzus and Dan Zizzle. Not his fault. He was just trying to retreat, and then from there, Niels Cook thought Violent Panda was going to take the shot, but sadly, for him at least, he went for the ultimate mind game, Shogun. The ultimate mind game of, I missed the shot.
That's the one we go for.
Yeah.
That was how we win our drop shot tournaments, right there.
Always intentional.
Always intentional missing. The ball's going to be cleared away over into the far side. Here's Pashy with yet another clear. Just wanting to leave this one away to anywhere that cannot result in a defensive mishap. Violent Panda gets that one. He's going to try and follow that one up. Stan just gets there in time, but here comes Pocket Aces. Continued pressure coming up from them, but Dan has that one covered yet again, but still cannot get this one away. Pocket Aces starting to get this one into the final third, refusing to leave. Okay, you haven't got a choice anymore. You've been demoed.
That was about to be a tight spot for Kaunos to be in. No one back on defense, but Zenzus keeping his head on him, noticing for the demo, and that is a second demo coming out of them in 10 seconds. They are trying to get aggressive now against Pocket Aces, that's usually their shtick.
Certainly is. Pocket Aces, especially Pashy, pretty much introduced bumping towards the competitive scene. And from there, it's blown up into being an even bigger thing. Chaussette takes the shot, puts that one up high, hits the crossbar, and then a save from Zenzus. Now here comes the counter-attack from Kaunos. Dan Sizzle's going to go by himself. Takes that past one play. Pashy, though, in the way, and Chaussette was behind him. Over to the side, Zenzus just with the clearance. Violent Panda, though, should have that one. This wall play has been so much better this season than what we saw last season. Kaunos missing that one. That's going to allow Pashy. He's going to put that one up high. Violent Panda follows it up. Going to try and get another touch. So Niels Cook just there and gets that one away.
Trying to look for each other now. Kaunos, oh, almost risky, but all three went for that. Zenzus looking for his teammates. I really like the awareness he's had to find his allies. But now these 50-50s from Violent Panda, most have gone in his favor so far this game.
Well, Niels Cook tried to get one past Pashy. Wasn't able to, though, and here comes Chaussette and the rest of the Pocket Aces. They were trying to get out of their half, but no contact there means that Kaunos can continue their offense. Going to be played off the side. Niels Cook cannot get to that one at all. And Pocket Aces, they'll be looking towards the scoreboard now and saying 1-0 is enough. And probably look more towards their defense. Pass out there, Dan Sizzle looks for the player. Niels Cook, though, can't get to that one quick enough, was shut down. And Chaussette can look for Pashy. Pashy, no contact from him. And Kaunos, easy clearance away from them. But they need to go somewhere with this lovely shot there. And a save from Violent Panda will keep that one away from their net. But here comes Niels Cook yet again. Pashy beats him to it. Trying to go to the other end of the field. Violent Panda misses that one. Zenzus with the save. But here is continued pressure. Nice pass out there. Pashy straight into Zenzus yet again.
Zenzus has done a great job both offense and defense. And at the moment, both teams just trying to counterattack each other into oblivion. Eventually, one of these teams is going to outpace the other.
Certainly are. Kaunos going to try and find their way back into this. They've got 53 seconds remaining, and that's going to be a miss there. That's an open ball. Dan Hizzle has to try and rotate back for that one. Chaussette gets that dangerous. Pashy, no good shot coming out from him. Just constant clearances coming out from the Pocket Aces. They do not want this in the half. As 1-0 is certainly enough. Pashy going to leave that one. Here come Kaunos, lovely little redirect onto that one, over into the side of the field. Niels Cook goes for the setup, Dan Hizzle tries to get that one down, and Pashy takes that one away from Zenzus before the contact can come in.
Trying to prep for this Violent Panda, instead of going for the save, trusted Pashy and went for boost so we could already start cheating up, trying to follow up each other. But we see Kaunos, as you see, already with the passing place, touching that above the net, but Dan Sizzle was just a bit too slow.
Chaussette can try and make this 2, but they are running out of time. There is number 2. And I am absolutely loving what Pocket Aces are doing on defense.
Eventually, the outpacing did happen. Chaussette finally was able to beat that final defender. Zenzus trying to make it back in time, but just a little too little, a little too late.
Certainly
a little
was.
too little.
They sent all 3 players forwards. No goals coming out from that, and that means it was an open net. Pocket Aces 1-0 up now in this series. But I love what they're doing on defense. I wanted to elaborate on that one earlier. They seem to be leaving one player in goal and then having another player just sat on the side, ready to come swooping, because it means they can come in full pace, always hit it into the corner, no danger on that sort of play. It's been really well played so far by them.
And a lot of trust as well. As I said, one of those last defensive drives, what happened is there was, I think, Chaussette in net, Pashy on the back corner. We're doing the hand thing again. Yeah. And then him borrow your hand.
Okay, yeah.
And then up at the front, Violent Panda instead went for the corner. Chaussette to follow, and Pashy's the one that hit it up to his teammate instead. So you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Sorry,
good.
I thought you were just letting. At least you put my hand doing what it does best, just staying in one position.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to let that one down, am I?
Yeah. Knowing immediately where his teammate was going to put it, that was trust in Pashy's hit as well. So it's really cool to watch them play defense. But I also have to give comment to Kaunos. I mean, I think they're doing a good job of counterattacks as well. We saw some really good midfield redirects, just a little bit off target. If those are a bit more of a threat, you'll force the defender to make weak touches.
Yeah, you certainly are. They're just waiting for that one defensive mistake to come up from Pocket Aces. They haven't happened, and that means that they haven't managed to score so far, so still struggling to find their way through into this one. But Kaunos showing that they belong. I really want to see them up the pace, though. This is a team that thrives in chaos, and as soon as the chaos starts to happen, they will look to play it really well. Their decision-making, a lot different to what we were talking about earlier when it came to Penta. They're very good at that sort of stuff. Dan Hizzle, very sharp on the communication, will always say where he is, and they're very good at just going, right, play the speed. We're going to outpace everything. Eventually, it's going to be an open goal for us.
Yeah, and remember, that was only a 1-goal game.
Yes.
So it was pretty minimal, I guess, until the very end. Was it the last second goal? I'm already drawing a blank.
It was the last second goal,
Yeah,
but
it was a 1-goal game.
It was what it
let's be
was,
honest.
yes.
It paced like a 1-goal game, even if the results may have shown something a wee bit different. But that also means that Kaunos is really close to keeping up with it. You know, they said it over there on the desk. They are keeping pace with these top-tier teams, even if they are the more unexpected team.
They certainly are. They need to try and get some wins on the board, however, and that's going to be difficult with Chaussette coming in so early onto that one. Pashi and the rest of the pocket will try and capitalize on their momentum, but Kaunos will need to get this out of their half. Niels Cook, nice clearance there from him. That's actually going to be just above target, and Violent Panda there on time, and then a demo there. Chaussette and Violent Panda, they had an opportunity, but played it too early and just let that one go flying away.
If Violent Panda gave up possession of that, that is the risk you take whenever you want to hit the ball a bit too fast. If you space yourself from the ball too much, you know you won't be next to touch it, and that's when you end up losing possession.
Going to be above the wall. Dance Hizzle gets a bit of contact onto that. It's just enough. Although they have to commit 2 players. Niels Cook has completely removed himself from the rotation. Wasn't even in net. They've got away with it, though, as the ball hit the post. But yet again, we're almost a minute into this, and we're only just crossing over into the Pocket Aces half. Need to see more coming out from Kaunos. That's an attempted demo coming out from Niels Cook. But the saves are still coming through.
It's going to be harder demolition when you see defenders that are pre-jumping. Demoing people out of the air is a skill that definitely no one has even come close to mastering. But a lot of pre-jumping right now coming from Pocket Aces, trying to read these touches well before they even get close to the net.
Here's Niels Cook. Long clearance coming out from him, but Violent Panda will take that one away. Still, Kaunos on the offense. Pashi has to get contact onto that one. He has managed to do so over into the corner. Chaussette and Violent Panda, they link up. They can get another one. Violent Panda hits the post. They've got to get rid of this one. Pashi hits that one straight into Dance Hizzle. Now Niels Cook, he's 1v1. He plays that one far too early. Could have gone for the 1v1 play against Violent Panda. Instead, just shoots it immediately.
Trying to outpace, but there is a situation where you need to realize they're going to save it. So if he'd slowed that down, he could have had that one-on-one dribbling opportunity and try and force a defensive maneuver, try and juke it over him.
Kaunos, though, looking much better on the offense. There's a pass out there from Violent Panda. Zenzus wasn't able to run onto that one, had to take a shot from a sitting down position. So that's now going to be the passing play. Violent Panda to Pashi. Pashi couldn't react to that one. It was just over the top of him. And now the team plays coming out from both these teams. Nice shot there from Zenzus. He had Niels Cook as an option as well to pass to. Instead, chose to take the immediate shot. That's going to be Pashi over to Chaussette. What are we seeing here? We're seeing 3, 4, maybe 5 team plays in a row. Much better creativity. That's going to be just above the top of the net.
Like I said from last game, counterplay after counterplay, rather impressive from both of these teams, particularly Kaunos, as I said, a team that hasn't been able to prove themselves here, but will Pashi sneak it through? No. Dance Hizzle confidently making the save as Violent Panda tries to continue on the attack.
Yeah, Kaunos need to be really just keep it in mind that Pocket Aces are very good at those midfield challenges, very good at getting those pinches, and they will often head towards your own net when you are least expecting it. Chaussette's out boost and cannot contest that one. So it's going to be Dance Hizzle over to Zenzus. Zenzus puts that one up high, looking for Dan. That's too far over the top of him, but Niels Cook can keep that one up high. They do not have the boost, however, to keep that play going. 0-0 still, and 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. Dance Hizzle tries to get that one down. He's got that past Chaussette, but cannot get that one past Pashi. As Pocket Aces have really slowed themselves down here, putting themselves into their own final third, waiting for the overcommit from Kaunos. Well, that's not going to happen here because it's completely slowed down. Here comes Niels Cook, tries to get over the top. He's got it past Violent Panda. Tries to get the block onto Pashi. He's still kept this one dangerous. Zenzus puts that one over to Dance Hizzle, saved by Chaussette. Chaussette, probably the best player at the league, at predicting where a ball is going to go, getting up there for the early block.
Fantastic players, but both of these sides really showcasing their skills. What an angle from Pashi in the corner. This redirect is a one for the books.
Look at that, over into the corner, and Pashi 90 gets himself up, rotates the car, hits it towards the net, and scores the goal. If you want to take the lead, that is how you do it.
Kaunos has been caught reacting a bit too slow on defense a few times, playing a bit of the opposite of Pocket Aces where they're trying to almost over-predict. I think both could fall from either, but it seems that Kaunos is the first to fall for not contesting some of these balls.
Well, now Kaunos needs to really pick up the pace. They've got to try and find a way through on this defense. And if I am correct, the last game ended 2-0, so this is turning into a long goal drought here for Kaunos. As the shot's going to come in, Dan's Hizzle needs to find a teammate. He can't get to Zenzus, though. And Pashi puts that one up high, can just continue to be a nuisance and waste time. As we see more passing plays come out, but that's just straight over to Charset. But a block comes in from Dan's Hizzle. Everyone on Pocket Aces got themselves back. Violent Panda puts that one up high. Great scramble from him.
Both players nearly making that in time. But that panic defense retreating back from the midfield, well played by them, because that was only one away that would have tied up the game. Oh, and this might be wide open. Oh, just missing it.
Almost getting themselves 2-0. That would have completely ended it, because Kaunos can have their one more opportunity, but Pashi is up there way before Zenzus, who doesn't even jump for it. And here it is, Violent Panda gets himself a goal. It doesn't matter, but my goodness, what a beaut.
Really showcasing their skills here. This was strictly for the viewers. Violent Panda putting that actually just about on target. Well, it actually was 100% on target, but it was going to hit the ground first, and it looked like somebody from Kaunos, maybe just to help him out, kept it up for him, trying to block it out in time, but showcasing their skill there. Pocket Aces, a couple of very nasty team plays there. Kaunos as well, though, with a lot of their own, forcing Pocket Aces to make a lot of quick defensive thought processes. Yeah, I think that's the word. Hearing that word plurally sounded weird in my head. But trying to get back quickly in time, it just barely got it in that last final drive where you saw Pashi get there. I think it was Pashi, it was Violent Panda, getting back on defense just in time to pop it up above the crossbar.
Yeah, it was Violent Panda. He
Violent
got there,
Panda, yeah.
he raced. Literally, they went 3-2-1 go, and he went straight for it. Got that one just above their net, and that was so important. Kaunos, though, they haven't found a way through. This is getting dangerous at this point. They are running the risk of going the entire series, not only being swept, but being kept to clean sheets in every single matchup.
But on paper, both games make it pretty much 1-0 the entire game. The last goal, we've talked about it before, a lot of times if you're the team that's losing, you're going to have to overcommit. You're going to have to dedicate too many people for an offensive play just to try and tie it up. So the last goal, I personally don't count it as much. A lot of times it's either for fun or because they had to overcommit, just because, I mean, you're losing. Yeah. You might as well go all in. So it's pretty much been 1-0 throughout the entire game as far as the way it's felt, and they've been going back and forth a lot between both of these teams. So as I know, Kaunos hasn't taken any wins yet, and they haven't even scored. Technically, as far as like in game when both teams are trying, Pocket Aces have really only scored twice.
Yes. So, however, when it comes to Kaunos, obviously they're struggling to find a way through. A lot of team plays coming out from them so far, but they're not getting that killer edge. They're struggling even to get the pass over to take the shot. So if you're them right now, do you start playing more direct? Do you start going for more dribbles, or do you keep to what you're doing? Violent Panda going to take that one over, goes for the long clearance. It's going to be straight over to Pashi, though, who just gets that one over to Zenzus. As Kaunos, they usually try and play with 3 players behind the ball. Looks like that's going to be what they continue to do here. Charset tries to turn and grab that one all the way. That's going to be Pashi, hits the crossbar. Violent Panda and Pashi keeping this one in that final third, and a lot of players from Kaunos being dragged out of position, meaning that they cannot clear it quickly.
Well, they may have kept it in. Pocket Aces did not start from a boost. They didn't steal into the boost corner, so Kaunos was able to confidently get boost in their own half and clear back. There is a passing play from midfield. And Dan Zizzle putting that on target.
Yeah, Pashi, we saw him about to try and rotate out, but he actually got the save. Just in position for that now. He almost gets himself in position for that pass from Violent Panda. And Violent Panda and Pashi, the duo that we saw last season, coming out huge right now, consistently getting passing plays. Charset gets demoed, and that's going to allow Zenzus to try and take this for the 1v1 play.
I like the way Pashi did contest that. If there's a one-on-one dribbling opportunity, you generally want to take it as a pair. Violent Panda, a bit too late to get up for that. Wasn't able to put that on a wide open net.
Charset just gets that one over. The players from Kaunos have rotated back, though. Nice pass out there, but easily read by Violent Panda. Here comes Pashi yet again, trying to get a better clearance. Violent Panda is up there in response, off to a side wall. Niels Cook and Dan Tizzle have to work together to clear that one away. Niels Cook is now in a 1v1 position, but did not land well enough, and there's the passing play between Charset and Violent Panda. They've gone to that well quite a few times now, possibly being read by Kaunos, who are sitting very far back. There we are, no one in net. Someone was looking for boost, and that has cost them.
I genuinely would have thought that Pashy 90 would have been the one to come up and contest that way before that. The side boost had spawned and he went back all the way to the corner boost. So I think that's when Kaunos probably expected someone to contest it, which is why they went unanswered for so long. It just rolled there for a long time. But by the time anyone finally did, it looked like Pocket Aces had the control and the whereabouts on the pitch to be able to make a passing play happen for him.
There's the touch towards there, but cleared away. As Danzizel and Kaunos continue to try and find a way through. Need to go for the long clearance. That's going to be cleared away towards the middle. And Zenzus has the block onto that one. Charles comes onto this. He's brought out 2 players. Can he get a second touch onto this one? With the setup, it's going to go over, but no one there in support. Pocket Aces happy to rest on this 1-goal lead as we've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Nice pass from Violent Panda, looking for Pashy. Pashy looking for Violent Panda off the crossbar, and no one going to commit to yet another touch on that one.
Seemed like Niels Cook was having some issues earlier, but hopefully he's feeling okay now. Oh, almost. That would have been quite a good shot, forcing the defense of Pocket Aces to try and make a risky maneuver.
Niels Cook, the player that you did mention, tried to take control of that ball. It's going to require Zenzus to come in. Wide rotations coming through. Zenzus takes it over the top. And 1-1. The goal drought is over. Hallelujah. Let's have a harvest.
This is as smooth as dribbles can get. Look at how just the curve on this turn. He was able to keep it just ever so gently on the corner of his car, pop it right over the last defender. And that is the goal drought ending their first goal of the series, but keeping it tied up. They could stay alive.
Pushing that one over to the side. Chasset and the rest of Pocket Aces might be rocked by that one, but they've come back from much more difficult positions. This game is tied up with Pocket Aces still 2 goals in, 2 series, 2 games. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get this right at some point. To the lead as Pashy tries to take control of this ball. Puts that shot onto target. Niels Cook plays that one over to the side. Going to be dangerous. Danzizel has to be that one first. He's going to pass that one straight over to the corner where Pashy awaits with a lovely shot from there over to Violent Panda. That's a shot onto target. East Coast or West Coast, it doesn't matter. All the way from one side to the other.
The patience on Pashy to take that pinch off the wall, and Violent, I don't even know how you'd read that off of a teammate. Those are rare touches indeed. One of the harder touches that people can get, the pinch off the back wall. But not only did he do that so well, but Violent Panda was for some reason up waiting for a pass for it.
This is a level of knowledge that we will never be able to tap into as these players coming up huge. Pocket Aces responding well to their original goal against them. Zenzus gets over to the corner. Kaunos need to find something within the next 90 seconds or they are going to lose this series. Niels Cook gets himself up high. Going to try and get a second touch onto this one, but does not have the boost for it. Instead, Danzizel comes in. That's a weak shot coming out, and Pashy will take that save. Here's Chasset, going to go for one play. Takes it over the top, but Niels Cook has that one covered. Pashy, no one in net, but it's going to be taken by Niels Cook, who plays that one away. Kaunos, 1 minute remaining, boys. Have you got it? Yes, you do, but Pashy's got it more than you do. With Savior medal coming out for him. Violent Panda with a tip over the top, but Chasset is now by himself. Easy clear away for him. Here comes Kaunos. Niels Cook plays that one up high, but Pashy gets a hold of it. Chasset looking for Violent Panda. Playing that one into the middle every single time. Great awareness on this. Know exactly what they want to go for. That's the one thing about repeated plays, however. If you go to them quite often, at least you're becoming a little bit predictable, but you always know what your teammates are going to do at the same time.
Kaunos has 30 seconds left to try and tie this up. We know they have the mechanical skill. We saw them out-dribble one of the hardest teams to dribble through. But right now, it seems the Pocket Aces are very comfortably trying to keep control of this ball and keep it out of their half.
Pashy just over the top, 15 seconds remaining. Kaunos need something right now, or they will be swept by the Pocket Aces. So here comes Violent Panda, puts that one up high. It's going to waste time, but Pashy gets this one down. Saved there by Niels Cook, but they have to go onto the counter-attack. That's going to be played away by Niels Cook, and they just let that one drop. 3-0. As well as Pocket Aces going 3-0 in the league.
5 shots to 7. So as far as even shots on goal, that was pretty close. And it was, again, a 1-goal game nearly the entire time. And every time we see these 3-0 sweeps, you can look post-game. If you missed out, you're like, oh, man, they got swept. They must have gotten wrecked. But when you really look at it, They were 1-goal games pretty much the entire time. Kaunos was right there underneath. And as far as their second week in the RLCS and being one of the newer teams, I think they're on a really good track to be able to start proving us wrong in the later weeks.
Yes, certainly are. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can see from them in the future. Chaussette was pretty quiet. However, it's not my job to analyze that. We're going to go over to the people whose job it actually is.
Thanks so much, Shogun. It is your job to analyze the games, just not right now. And that's okay. That's our job. Guys, what a match here. You finally got one right, Gibbs.
Broken
3-0.
clock is
That's
right twice a day.
Twice
I
a
can't
day.
even say it correctly, so
That's okay.
I'm never right. It's okay.
That's
You
not
can
a
take
double
some of
talk.
my points. I feel like
I
I'm
don't
unfair.
even want your Canadian points. Just don't want them.
Ooh.
They're not.
Are
They're
Canadian
worth
points
like half.
Exactly. They're like
Well, I think
0.6
they should
or
actually
$1.
technically be worth like 0.2 more or something. Just, I don't know, conversion rate.
Either way, no one wants them.
Calnos versus Pocket Aces. Fantastic match there, just kind of almost an exhibition from Pocket on how to play well. These guys played they completely shut them out in games 1 and 2. In game 3, it looked like it was going to be the same. And then we did see the Calnos finally get a goal, but still, very rough series there for
Yeah,
Calnos.
we almost had a clean sweep. We still have never seen that before where a team does not score a goal. So Zen pulling out that dribble, it was basically a solo play that got him goal. But Pocket was not basically like allowing Kaunos to get any quality shots on net. It was pretty simple for Pocket to play their defensive game that they like to play. And then Pashy with this redirect right here. It's like some people said he's lost it, but that shot right there proves that he's still got something in the
I think
tank.
this series was a whole proving thing for anybody that was trying to say that. I mean, I got to give it to Kaunos though. I mean, the shots were really close, 23-17 throughout the entire series. That's not far off. Their shooting percentages definitely go down, especially with that drought of no goals they had. Finally, squeaking one through. But I mean, it was a close series, regardless of that sweep.
Yeah, just not a ton of offense from Pocket, but they got it when they needed to. Like right there, that last play, another counter play with Pashy setting up plays for Violent Panda the entire series. Violent Panda with 4 goals, Pashy 4 assists. So those two teaming up extremely well, and we'll see if they can continue that into the next weeks. But now they are 3-0, tied for first.
They are 3-0. We have 2 teams who are undefeated, and it's looking like the match of the season is going to be Leftovers versus Pocket Aces, right? I did it again.
Yeah.
Pocket Aces. There's 2 teams. They're
another
so
dollar.
close. Another dollar, dang it. But speaking of Mocket Esports, they are coming up next. When we come back, it's going to be them taking on Kaunos. Basically, the battle of the basement here. Who is going to be able to end the series not on the bottom of the standings? Mocket going to be looking for their first win. Kaunos going to look to improve and bounce back after their loss there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Rocket League Championship Series, where we are almost through with week 2 of League play for Europe right now. If you've been enjoying what you've been seeing here on the broadcast, be sure to follow us over at RLCS on Twitter. Also, check out rlcs.gg for all sorts of great content on the RLCS, the Rocket League Championship Series. Now, Gibbs, James, I almost blended your names
Games.
there. Games and
Games.
Jibs was what I was going to come out as.
We need
that
a
would have been
cartoon.
entertaining.
That's what we need.
Games and Jibs.
Yeah.
I would watch it. Sounds good. We have Kaunos versus Mocket Esports for our final match of the day. This is the only match Mocket's getting to play, and they have yet to get a win here in RLCS.
Yeah, but Kaunos, they were #1 in goals last week, and they scored 1 goal in 3 games here, so they're looking a little rough. Mocket might be a little happy that they get to play a Kaunos that right now is not looking great.
But this is a must-win game for Mocket. If they lose this game, it would be disastrous for them. K-Dop, Fairy Peak, those guys, as we've said before, one of the best duos in the game. Joined up by Mystic, who was on Northern last season. They are the clear favorite to get this win.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a look at K-Dop versus Neil Skook on the stats face-off here. Both these players going to be looking to make moves here in this match.
The one highlight from Mocket last week was K-Dop himself, 0.89 goals, 0.44 assists, and that was on a limited goals by Mocket as well. Fairy Peak, extremely quiet, but on the other side, Kaunos, #1 in goals right now because of Neoscope.
Yeah, but after this week, that's certainly going to change. Last series, the only player to get a goal in the whole series was Zensis, so Neilskog, that goals per game definitely going to go down, even after that performance. But Mocket, again, K-Dop, Fairy Peak, Mystic, these guys are here, and you know they're hungry for a victory after losing both games last week.
So, given that they're both hungry, both Kaunos coming off of a rough loss to Pocket Aces, guys, who's winning? How many games is it taking them?
Fairy Peak, extremely quiet last week. I think he will finally show up this week. He needs to get that chemistry going with K-Dop. It showed very rarely last week, so I expect that to change here. I am going to give it 3-0, because Kaunos only scored 1 goal, and I just don't trust him right now.
Yeah, I think Mocket is going to smash Kaunos.
Smash.
3-0.
Smash.
We got a double 3-0 Mocket smash prediction over here. Holy cow. I'm excited to see if it happens. I'd love to see if Kaunos could possibly play upset here. Who's going to win? Let's find out. It's Leaf and Lawler calling the action. Guys, take it away.
It'll be Mocket. Not to throw shade, but no. I mean, they're putting up a good fight. Kaunos is actually putting up a really decent fight against these teams. Again, we don't expect to do that. Bringing a lot of these games to 4 or 5 series, and I don't think they're going to give up. As I said on the desk, Mocket's still looking to even get a win in the RLCS, and hopefully for them this will be it. But Kaunos still can put up that fight.
Yeah, I mean, Mocket had a rough week last week, so there's that. And the other side, like Gibbs said, is Fairy and K-Dop are known as probably like the best duo in the world right now. Unbelievable players. It takes them time to ramp up. As we saw them last week in that series, the more games that they got under their belt, the better and better those two looked. But for them, K-Dop popped off. It just wasn't enough in that match. These guys have a lot of talent. A lot of us respected them coming into this week. And it's hard to argue with the desk on this one.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I mean, the one thing I like about these two clashing together is their styles of play. I mean, the one thing I love about Kaunos is they do look out for each other. They get really good passing plays infield, especially on the way back. But Mocket is also really good at that.
Would you say they're a very balanced team in Kaunos?
Very balanced. The skill level might be peaked at a bit lower than some of the other teams, but very balanced, absolutely. And the team works together. Kaunos works together very well. And the fact that they can hold off against teams, again, like Pocket, sure, a sweep, but close series, it is still an impressive feat of its own. Mocket, again, if they can get those passing plays, though, might be able to get that around the players of Kaunos.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I said and asked if they were balanced is, I mean, last week they had some difficulties here and there, but overall, like, whenever a player stepped down, another player on their team stepped up. So both Niels and Zensis had 2 really strong performances in their series last week. But it's going to be rough against a team like Mocket. Like you said, that skill ceiling very high for these guys. Yeah,
one of the players for me to look out for Mocket for sure has to be Mystic. I mean, you talked about the other two being a good duo, but Mystic is that third that just has shown up since Season 2, showing up to land, as I said, considered to be one of that weaker players and maybe why dropped from the team, is showing up and showing his worth. Mystic is a player to watch out for and a great guy overall. But we come down to game number 1, Mocket Esports versus Kaunos. Kaunos just coming off a loss, a sweep against Pocket Aces. Now Mocket Esports looking to continue that streak of losing for Kaunos, but I'm sure they're not ready to give up another point. As they start off a play, those are the passing plays I'm talking about, off the sideboard. See if they can continue another one, maybe some back passing will be nice to get past that Mocket defense, as they are holding off really well right now. First minute, both teams trying to just get that flow going, but a dunk from Fairy Peak. Not rocking the Batmobile anymore, instead the Dominus almost dunks that one in from the defender of Kaunos to put in the first goal, but it was stopped out to the side, and now they have to try again at the midfield here. Kaunos trying to take control. Zensis, a pass or a shot. Either way, it was stopped out by KDOP, but two defenders now from Mocket out of the play. Fairy Peak, the last one back. Mystic trying to help for a pinch. It does work out, and KDOP is able to turn the play back down the other way.
I do like Mocket's aggression already, trying to get everybody involved early on, but look at it as it comes back. A demo on one side, immediately returned by KDOP.
Look at that. Completely horizontal passing coming up from Mocket as they try to capitalize on this demo. Looks like Kaunos already ready in the rotations, except for the fact they had two spiders up on the wall. Dan almost losing control, manages to have enough time to put that the other way as they try to create a counterattack, not breaking past the edge of that box there. They will try again at midfield. Mocket takes control and turns it the other way as Niels tries to set up a play of their own. Zensis a little bit too far behind, across field passing. That was some speed to that ball, but they couldn't follow that one up.
Team plays, like you said, going across field, allows them to buy themselves time and clear it out of the field. As you know, Kaunos does a pretty good job of shadowing, but shots just not finding the net just yet.
Trying to get those passing plays. I see it from Mocket off the backboard. Ooh, that's actually a really rough spot. Fairy Peak just has to put it on target.
What a shot from Fairy Peak.
All he had to do, and it's Fairy Peak. He can do that as both defenders are completely gone from the net.
Well, you saw one shot coming in, and luckily for them, Mystic was committing to that as well, but Fairy Peak able to rotate under and using that bottom of his car, slowing the pace of that ball, just wanting to kill it so it can go in the net. Good angle from Fairy Peak, put him up by one, getting involved early here.
2.5 minutes left now. Mocket Esports is up by 1 goal. Kaunos always doing a good job of holding off against these top echelon teams. The teams that are expected to win, all they have to do is score, and they can keep these at a completely even pace. We'll see if they can do that in the remainder of this game as Zensis tries to set one up for Niels. That's a little far away, so Dan will move it instead. A pass back to Zensis, but he throws himself off target, and now the ball moving back the other way. Mocket trying to regain control here as Niels almost helps him out with a pass across his own net, but look at that passing play on defense. They couldn't break past midfield. Finally they do, but just the awareness of each other on this field. Unfortunately, a little bit off on that shot. That could have been a goal for Kaunos.
Yeah, those quick little touches just make it really difficult to defend against while they're trying to apply that pressure for Mocket. Luckily for them, that last touch was a clear. Otherwise, they could have spelled trouble for themselves.
Again, if we can see a little bit more of what they started up in their own end and we're able to turn it back to the offense from Kaunos, we might see a goal very soon. That's very hard for any team to be able to intercept, because you chance throwing someone out of your play and off of your defense. Dan keeping it slow, the flick not going far enough. Mystic will be able to take that one away from him. KDOP can't set a pass down anywhere effective for Fairy Peak, so he'll have to move it in the corner instead. No 50-50 for him. A breakout chance finally for Kaunos as they go back down on offense, but every single time they get down there, they just seem to lose control. Very good at holding off on defense and breaking out, but it's that creating those scoring opportunities that Kaunos seems to lack.
No, it's exactly like you stated. Despite being able to hold off this onslaught from Mocket, they cleared downfield pretty well, and they buy themselves some time able to boost back up.
Oh, that could be one just stopped out by the defense there. Not even getting a save credit for that, but KDOP will get the clear as they move it the other way.
What I'm really happy to see, though, from Mocket is the way they're completing their rotations. Too many times do we see players cut in front of each other because they think they have an opportunity. Shot almost from
Mystic can set this one out now, though, for KDOP. KDOP a little bit too far behind. Kaunos will be able to move to the other end, one-on-one. Niels trying for the far shot. He makes it past Fairy Peak. That's so hard as a defender. Is it a mind game? Is it a shot? It's a goal.
Yeah, well played by Niels as well. That slight delay in that hit, making sure to get around it, just puts enough of a angle on it to play it inside. Even though it wasn't the farthest across, it had enough power, and that's part of the reason why he rushed it. He tried to hit it as quickly as possible with that angle, just to make sure that defender couldn't react in time. But 1-1, 17 seconds left. Anybody's game still.
Here we are all tied up. Might see an overtime now. Kaunos holding off against Market Esports with that last play there. Able to find the back of the net and put one in. Market just slowing it down. They'll try one more attempt here. They're going to have to back off as Kaunos slams that one the other way. Look at Niels already preemptively there for a passing play, but it will touch the ground. And we hit an overtime in game number 1 of this best of 5. Market Esports versus Kaunos. Market still looking for a point in league play.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with Market as well, playing very passive. Normally we see them send all 3, but so far, every time that they see something that's not really formulating, immediately back off. Really smart play, just not trying to take any risks.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a weird spot for Kaunos. They do manage to correct themselves. Dan gets a pinch in his favor straight down into that blue end. Market having to refresh from defense. Passing plays from Niels to Dan. That's a bad spot. And Niels is going to be able to slam that one in, a defensive mistake.
Oh, it's just as you stated, big defensive mistake. You see Mystic trying to get around and play that. I think he purposely rotated his card because he wanted to play that back out to the right. But with the way the ball's moving in, it just kills the momentum and settles it right in front of their net. Easy pickup for Niels.
And there it is, Kaunos taking that game. Surprisingly, everyone expecting a blowout in this series, maybe a sweep from Market. Kaunos holding in strong, taking a point now in this series as they get that overtime goal. And we said it before, they're doing a really good job of holding on defense. They never look like they're struggling on defense. Every time they're hitting the ball around, maybe sometimes by chance, they're connecting with each other and getting that ball into a hard clear. The issue is even when they do maintain possession up to the midfield to put it into the offense for themselves, they tend to lose it fairly quickly after. And it's usually just by a mechanical mistake. I've seen a few times the Kaunos players have control and just completely fly by it all of a sudden. I don't know what is happening when they get on offense. They're getting flustered, but it gives the ball back to into the hands of Market, and they can turn it around. So they're not able to score off them. They did score twice this time, but that was only because of a defensive mistake from Mystic on Market.
Right, and it's good that they're able to capitalize on that. Obviously, they're keeping their posture on defense, which is obviously the first step. If you have a team that's pretty aggressive like Market, the best thing you can do initially is be like, all right, we're going to let you what you have to do, and we're going to shut that down. And they did a good job of that. Even though some of those passes didn't look completely intentional, they looked safe, I guess. But they were able to clear it out and able to come out with a win.
Bubble with their passing plays.
It was weird. Like, it just kept bouncing around kind of like pinball, but just their team on their side. Kind of scary, but...
Well, they managed to take the first point in this series. Market now down 1-0. I'm sure they're going to want to get these next few. I'm sure we'll see their speed crank up quite a bit here. As we get back down into game number 2. They're already trying that hard offense, but you see K-Dop and Fairy Peak both backing off. That's going to give a lot of time for Niels to move that one back to midfield. K-Dop by himself. Fairy Peak, if he can drop this quickly, that should be a goal.
So close.
Tried to get that pinch off the crossbar.
No, exactly like you said, following that up, and worst case scenario, he draws a defender out for this side, but that pinch actually favors Kaunos as the clear comes out. Now they're able to contest at the midfield.
There could be a chance. K-Dop, a throw up to Mystic. Mystic can't get another one to K-Dop, but he'll try to take control. Fairy Peak on the wrong side, maybe expecting that to go by K-Dop. We'll have to back off the defense. Kaunos grabbing that boost while on offense. That's going to put Market in a rough spot on defense as they try to put on this pressure. Niels Cook out of the play. Dan just getting a hard enough hit to get that over Fairy Peak. Maybe in a backflip would have kept it on offense and put Kaunos in a rough spot, but instead they let it go back into their own end. Dan out of the play. Mystic up for a shot. No drop from that one though. Zensis off the wall. Ooh, weird spot for the defense at Kaunos. Once again, it dropping straight down off the roof. Now they're starting to put some pressure on. There's a post shot. Scary spot for Zensus. A pass from K-Dot, maybe expecting Fairy Peak to stay there. Sometimes not connecting with their passes.
Still good awareness though from K-Dot. He saw that there was people in net, so rather than trying to force it, he passes it back out. And it eventually allows them perfect decision making there. He actually passed it out. It allows them to maintain possession, and then look what comes from it. K-Dop off that corner and plays it right back into the middle for Fairy Peak.
Well, they need this. A lot of the times they've been going for these passes that have been a little bit out of reach from their teammate Market, not connecting with a lot of those. Finally they do. As you said, a good touch from K-Dop as he throws it off the corner, knowing that Fairy Peak was ready for that pass. And they find themselves 1-up, but we did see them 1-up in a game number 1 as well. And Kaunos turned that one around for a win on that game. See if Kaunos can do it again. 3 minutes left, lots of time. Mocket only 1 goal up. Not quite the cushion they're looking for, especially when they're sitting on defense. Zensus has a chance to stuff that one under Fairy Peak. Couldn't quite get it by him, and Fairy Peak does move it back down past the midfield.
I like how Kaunos is getting creative with those goals too. Even though there's someone in net, they send one to go for the demo, frees up the space. It's just missing some of those shots. They need to make sure they capitalize on it like that.
Plays. I was gonna say on it. I'm like, Zensus maybe should have taken a shot there, or sorry, Niels could have taken a shot. I didn't even see Zensus on the far side. What aware? These guys know where they are on the field at all times. They have radar.
Fantastic cheat up by Zensus, just rotating wide, just waiting for an opportunity, and then making sure that one goes in, something they desperately needed.
Halfway through and they tie it up. We saw Kaunos do this in game number 1. Took him into overtime to be able to do it, though. We'll see if they can do it regulation time this time around. We're all tied up in the series. Mocket looking to put another one in the net. Not happy about that last one. A split there is going to allow K-Dop to move in. Forcing his way through, holding the boost the entire time. He tries to get that 50-50 in his favor, but that's going to run straight down to the other end. Quick to the air is K-Dop trying to get that one to Mystic. They're doing everything they can to try to set up a play, but look how well spread out right now Kaunos is. That rotation on defense looking beautiful. They're able to transition that one down into the other end to try to create an attack. And the communication on point right now from Kaunos as they're now back on offense.
I'm curious. Do you think when Kaunos gets tilted, if they do, that it's like sour milk, or do they call it like cow tipping?
That's a good question. We're going to have to ask them later. But right now they aren't doing either one of those, because they're doing a really good job of keeping on to offense. But Mocket trying to turn this one around. Can't formulate anything. They're looking like what we saw Kaunos in some of the other matches. Able to push that one past the midfield, but not creating any kind of real opportunities on net there. Good stop there off the backboard from Kaunos. And all they have to do is hold off for another minute, reset at that midfield for a kickoff, because now they're finding themselves struggling on defense. And this could be the buildup the Mocket needs to be able to put one in the net. A follow-up from Fairy Peak, a pass to the far side. There is a teammate. It drops in front. Fairy Peak trying to put it in. Can't get it past that other side of the goal line. And now Kaunos trying desperately for that counterattack. Their chance to run down while that Mocket was strictly on offense.
This defense from Kaunos is formidable.
Absolutely, it's incredible. They almost broke, though. It got very scary for Kaunos at that point, and that was the chance that Mocket needed to capitalize. You need to be able to punish any kind of hole, just as Kaunos did on that defensive malfunction from Mocket before. There's a shot from Nielso. That's going to go in. Talk about punishment, as I was just saying. Now we have Kaunos with 22 seconds left, up again in game number 2.
Well, a lot of the times you see these guys take their time downfield and dribble it, but he recognizes his open net and uses a power shot, making sure to hit that with the corner of his car right as it's bouncing up off the ground. And perfect placement, top right.
I think we're all going to be texting Gibbs to change our predictions right now, as Kaunos is looking good, but a quick answer, maybe speaking too early. 13 seconds left. We're back at a tie game, and Mocket not happy being behind. They're like, we need a point in this series. Great passing play from Mocket.
Exactly correct. And quick rebuttal, like we said, important. A lot of these games still staying with one goal. Like, very impressive from EU. All these teams have a chance to take it. It's just exciting Rocket League to watch all around.
Ooh, Fairy Peak trying for a clear. That's a bad spot. As they try to put one in, they couldn't get that team play. Zensus was trying to go for a creative play with Dan. They're, of course, going to let that drop. Mocket had no possession on that one. Would have been risky to throw it in front of the net. We hit another overtime here in this EU league play. Everything is so close. Off the bat, though, that could be a goal. Drop down. Not where Fairy Peak wanted it. Wonder if that dominance not working quite too well for him today. A lot of the touches he's been going for have been a little bit off. Kaunos looking for something. Niels knows he's the last one. It has to be a little bit patient with it.
Close.
Trying to get up for that, and Niels almost had a second touch himself. The turnaround the other way. Watch out, Fairy Peak creeping. Niels does get that one to the side. 30 seconds into this overtime. Mystic almost finding a couple holes in defense, but Kaunos quickly turning this the other way. That's a shot, a little bit short. There's a third in, and that's gonna be it. An overtime goal again, and Kaunos taking game number 2, and they're at match point.
I mean, you're looking at the stat line, and in their game last week against Secrecy, there was a huge upset for Kaunos where they ended up taking it 3-1, and it's because one of their players popped off. You see Niels trying to do that again, just doing whatever he can to just put them that little bit extra forward. His team, like his rest of his teammates, are definitely involved. They're really helping out, but there's that one standout guy, and right now that seems to be Niels Cook again.
Although I do not want to say anything, but we've seen a lot of reverse sweeps in Season 3 of the RLCS. A lot of reverse sweeps, and that could happen at any point here. But this is so close, and unless Mocket really starts to formulate anything on offense, this is a done series for them because they are not able to create anything when it comes to offense. They had a couple shot. Fairy Peak, honestly, has had a few weak touches that haven't really gone anywhere. A couple times been catching passes from his teammates where he's out of position. He's trying to recuperate. And I think it might come down to that. A few things, obviously, but it's just been a little bit off for Mocket. And Kaunos knows how to punish. The second they see an opportunity, they're going to take it.
Well, a lot of it has to do for 2 reasons, and it's not due to like the falter of Mocket. They're doing really good things on offense. Like when they kept that rotation consistent, they had like a point where they dropped it back down in a pass, and rather than like trying to force it in, they went for a demo. Mystic went for another pass, and like they keep trying to get stuff to happen, but the defense of Kaunos is just shutting it down. Shots-wise, they're still pretty equal. It's just for some reason there's something about Kaunos, the way that they're spreading themselves out and giving themselves those opportunities to where they're able to capitalize on counterattacks.
Honestly, the defense is, as I said it before, one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a while. The rotations are super strong from Kaunos, and it's just not allowing Mocket to really take any kind of control while they're on offense. And that's when they need to formulate, and I think that's where demos might start to come in handy, because you break up that rotation on defense from Kaunos, they're not going to be able to do the things they've been doing.
Well, we've already seen K-Dop try a couple of those. There's a shot barely saved by K-Dop.
That was incredible. That was a lot of power from Dan as he pinched that one off the ground. Look at these forward passes they're trying to get. Dan was ready for another one. But now Kaunos, 2-on-1. Now a 1-on-2. Rough spot there. Fair Peak just a little bit over, but no problem. Says K-Dop, except the post says also no problem. I'm going to stop that one finally. Fairy Peak with a nice soft shot. Gently puts that one away for the first goal. But again, for the 3rd time in a row, Mocket's gone up. Will it be for a 3rd time in a row that they drop the game, though?
It's really tough to say. A lot of it finally coming together, though. Capitalizing on that mistake. You saw 2 go up for it. Not only that, but that soft touch settling in front of their net. Just kind of panicking in that sense, which is kind of not normal for Kaunos. Usually they stay pretty composed on their own side.
1 goal up. Only a minute has passed. Kaunos was creating some opportunities, and this may be answered very quickly. A shot. Just stopped by K-Dop to the side. The epic save. But will it be enough as Kaunos still putting on the attack? These guys are feeling it right now. Last defender back has to put it soft down. Maybe a little bit more mustard to that one would have been good. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get a point on the board out of that one. Now Mocket offense pushing forward. Great pass from K-Dop. Oh my goodness, in the corner. Look at the way he gets a second touch here.
Yeah, as soon as that ball goes up, K-Dop comes off the wall, flips into it, but luckily able to land and get that pinch perfectly out to his teammate. But this is the Mocket we know and expect. The aggression really showing. If they can keep this up, it's going to be a rough time for this, knock on wood, reverse sweep that people have been calling all day, I guess.
There it is. I don't know. They've now 2 goals up. This is the first time they're breaking the trend of only being up by 1. And that could be exactly what they needed. Nice touch. Okay, K-Dop. We get it. You're amazing. Look at this. Look how he turns his car to get the soft side. This is all he could have done. That was the only open spot on the net. He had to get a soft touch to that side. Air rolls beautifully to put that one in.
Good decision making as well for that placement. But that's something that they weren't doing at the beginning. Originally, they were only sending 2 and then backing off. But this time, they're trusting themselves. They're allowing that 3rd man to rotate in, assuming that the first guy that goes up in attack is going to rotate back and play some defense. It's paying off, but now it's up to Kaunos to rebuttal it.
They very well could do it right here, even with a shot. A lot of the shots a little bit weak. coming into this third game. They do sit up 2-0. This is a match point for Kaunos. Maka loses this one, then that will be the series. But they're up 3 points. They're not looking to lose this one. And we see Kaunos still doing a really good job, though, on offense right now. Just, again, a lot of the shots lacking a little bit of power there. And the Maka defense is able to stop a lot of them. They're not going to be able to stop that one, though. Oh, they are! What a save! So close! I would have panicked so hard and put it in my own net, but they managed to keep it out. Maka, clutch save, keeping that goal away as we hit the halfway mark. Kaunos robbed of one of those goals. Incredible! Another passing play. Look at Dan, always up for that cherry pick shot, trying to get a flank. I like what Kaunos is doing. They just have to make sure they don't give up any more goals, and they might be able to squeak enough by in the next 2 minutes.
I mean, it's part of the reason why they're up in this series is those pass plays. Rather than taking the direct approach, they recognize, you know what, I'm not going to be selfish. I'm going to give it to my teammate. And just that slight touch to put on a shot is just so much more difficult to read. But this Maka team is starting to wake up.
See if Kaunos try to put him back to sleep as they have a minute 50 left. 3 goals trailing. Not going to be a very easy feat at all. As you just said, Maka is starting to run amok here. Another shot.
Oh my goodness, K-Dop.
What?
What a dunk coming in. You see Mystic play this perfectly off that wall again, something they did last time. But for him to air roll and put that shot, it's just the follow-up. Obviously,
I don't think he even tried to do that one, but still incredible. Holy smokes. He just throws his body in there. K-Dop, a beast right now on the field. With a minute 30 left, I think Kaunos might be giving up this game. And they might want to look to the next. But of course, you want to start to get at least another goal just to start the momentum into the next game. But if you can't, just set your mind free and let it be fresh into the next one.
No, it's exactly like you stated. When you're down by this much with this amount of time, like, yeah, you can try to set some stuff up and go for it. But it's more so about focusing on the next game, and you want to make sure, like, you need to prove to yourself, like, yes, we can score. Let's focus on the next one. Let's do the same thing. But Maka's not laying off, man.
The final minute remaining. I'm going to give this one to Maka Esports. As you said, they're not laying off. It could turn around, but with saves like, look, every single time it looks like they're about to get a goal. I think they've had 4 good opportunities that have just been trickling towards the goal line like this, and every single time they've been stopped off by Maka, coming in clutch with the defense against Kaunos. Now that Kaunos finally has figured out what to do on offense, and they're getting stopped, I don't know how they're going to react coming into game number 4.
No, and you and I talk about it quite a bit, but it usually favors the team that loses because they're able to make those adjustments that they need to. They recognize, okay, this is what beat us, so how do we fix it? While the winning team just has to try to keep doing what they're doing to capitalize on it. And it's not always the easiest thing to do is to basically try to have your plan still stay successful after the other team tries to adjust to it.
Yeah. Well, we talk about how mid-game adaptions can be really difficult. And it's very true. And that's why I say you got to look at the next game. But I don't know if Kaunos this is going to be a hard one to transition because Kaunos took a very long time. They took an entire series to get to this point, and now they're finally figuring out what to do on offense. Even the first game was a little weak. Now they're finally able to figure out what to do, and all of a sudden Maka turns around in one game and says, okay, let's just start destroying you. Well, I mean, K-Dop specifically is the one that figured it out. But that looks, so this is great. In private servers, the points are halved. That looks like a